Hey guys, welcome back to the Adler podcast. Just checking to make sure it's all working fine and dandy. Seems to be good. So good to be here, guys. Hello to everyone in the chat. Just going through a little bit, making sure we're all good here. So seems to be all fine. Just gonna check the audio. Okay, seems to be good. So we are good. Let's go. So, hello, guys. Welcome back to the Adler podcast. My name is Andrea, and today is episode number 59 of the Adler podcast. Right now, I am on my own, but I will be soon joined by Franco, who will be joining, I believe, in a few minutes. Unfortunately, Joe was not able to make it today due to reasons. Hope all is good over there, Joe. But let's get into it straight away, because today we don't have the most packed episode, to be honest with you. We've got a few things going on here. So what do we have to talk about today? First of all, obviously, we'll be talking about Carl Weathers. Unfortunately, as you might know, this past week we lost the legendary Carl Weathers, and we'll have a bit of the episode where we just talk a little bit about his best shows, his best movies, his best roles, and we'll talk a little bit about him. After Carl Weathers, then we also have quite a few trailers to talk about. Just to update, we'll just mention it and say maybe a minute or two, talk a minute or two about it. We've got the Amy Winehouse Back to Black trailer, the official full trailer, which has released. We've got the trailer also for Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, which will be interesting to watch as well. After that, we've also got Next on Netflix 2024. So basically what happened was last week, Netflix released their Next on Netflix 2024 show, showing pretty much the shows and movies which are going to be releasing this year. And I basically made a whole list of all these like shows and movies, and I basically pointed out 3 of the shows which look the most interesting for myself. But then obviously we'll interact with the chat and see which movies and which shows are you interested in watching on Netflix this year. After that, then we've got some other news. Obviously, we'll get into George R.R. Martin's comments. He had a few comments with regard to anti-fans, and I have some thoughts about that. I know Franco will definitely have thoughts about that as well. We also have news about Denis Villeneuve in the future for the Dune franchise. That will be interesting as well. And to conclude, as always, we have a lot of reviews for you. First of all, we got the review for Mr. and Mrs. Smith. We have a review for The Promised Land, Mads Mikkelsen's The Promised Land. I believe it's called something like Bastarden something in Danish. So that was an interesting watch, definitely an interesting watch. And unfortunately, since Joe is not able to make it today, we will not have the review for the Zone of Interest. Possibly the review for the Zone of Interest will be next week. So make sure to join us next week if you are interested in the Zone of Interest review. And with that, let's get straight into it. And I wanted to start the podcast just remembering the man, the myth, the legend, Carl Weathers. And I'm going to bring up the news article on Variety about his loss. You should be seeing that right now on your screen. So, Carl Weathers, who starred as Apollo Creed in the first 4 Rocky films opposite Sylvester Stallone, died Thursday. His manager, Matt Luber, confirmed to Variety he was 76. Weathers also starred in 1987's. Hello, Franco.
Hello. Sorry for the late entry.
No problem.
How's it going?
Good. Just so you know, I just wanted to start it with this, Franco, with the Carl Weathers news. Just want to start with this. Talk a little bit about Carl Weathers, his past roles, and everything, and then we'll get back to the usual, what we've been up to, what we've been watching, and so on. So I'm just going through the article about his loss. Basically, he was 76. Obviously, he starred as Apollo Creed in the first 4 Rocky films opposite Sylvester Stallone. And he unfortunately died last Thursday. Weathers also starred in 1987's Predator, which I recently had a very fun rewatch of. He had a memorable role in Adam Sandler's Happy Gilmore, which I haven't watched. He was nominated for a Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Guest Actor in a Drama Series for his work in the Star Wars series The Mandalorian. He also voiced Combat Carl in Toy Story 4, played a fictionalized version of himself in a recurring role on Arrested Development, apparently a hilarious role. I haven't watched Arrested Development, but apparently he's hilarious in that role. Very self-aware as well. His other credits include the TV series Street Justice, Colony, The Shield, Chicago Justice, Brothers, and the films Close Encounters of the Third Kind, of course, Death Hunt, and The Comebacks. After working with Sandler on the 1996 golf comedy Happy Gilmore, Weathers briefly reprised his role in Little Nicky and voiced the character in Sandler's animated Hanukkah comedy 8 Crazy Nights. Carl Weathers is survived by his ex-wife, Marianne, and their 2 sons. Now, obviously, another legend of cinema, Sylvester Stallone, took a moment to pay tribute to his co-star Carl Weathers, who died Thursday in his sleep at 76. Obviously, the actors fought it out in the ring for the first 2 films of the famous boxing franchise, and they remained friends in the decades following the final installment, 1985's Rocky. Well, I guess, obviously, spoilers, Apollo Creed dies in Rocky 4. Stallone shared a video on his Instagram Friday, remembering Weathers and their time together in their breakthrough films. In the caption, he partially wrote, "We lost a legend yesterday. My life was forever changed for the better the day I met Carl Weathers. I never could have accomplished what we did with Rocky without him. He was absolutely brilliant. His voice, his size, his power, his athletic ability, but more importantly, his heart, his soul. It's a horrible loss." The Rambo star explained that he was standing in front of an abstract painting of him and Weathers because it was probably the last moment they were ever in the ring together. And that's something he will never forget. He was magic, and I was so fortunate to be part of his life, he concluded. So, Apollo, keep punching. Franco, your thoughts?
Nothing to add with what Sylvester Stallone said. That's quite a very heartfelt goodbye, I would say, by Sylvester Stallone.
Indeed.
Like, yeah, I am the Shield. When you mentioned the Shield, like, oh my god, I haven't seen that series in ages. Very gut punching. That series. Yeah, rest in peace. Like I said, nothing else to add to Sylvester Stallone's excellent message. I was impressed by how well written it was, and very heartfelt.
Mm-hmm. Very, very, very heartfelt. And did you watch the video, Franco, of Sylvester Stallone?
No, I didn't. I didn't watch it, so it's the first time I'm hearing what he said in the video. So,
it's, to be honest with you, just listening to him and seeing him, he seemed distraught. He seemed like he was holding in the tears, basically, for it. It was actually quite. I mean, they were close friends. Apparently, there was a bit of a falling out between them when it came to the first Creed, I believe. I'm not sure when it was, but they had a small falling out. But then they became friends again, and everything.
no, they patched up. Yeah.
They patched up. Yeah. Obviously, Apollo Creed is a character which will never be forgotten in cinema, right? Like the amount of charisma and just how, not just charisma and power and strength but also how smart the character was. I was always impressed what a savvy businessman. The whole concept behind Apollo Creed, apart from being this powerhouse of a boxer, was also what a savvy businessman he was, his kind of character. And the whole Rocky of it all came out because of this business idea he had to freshen things up a little bit, to bring in some kind of competition. Because in Rocky 1, Apollo Creed was unbeatable. But yes, obviously then Predator. We had Carl Weathers in Predator with the legendary Schwarzenegger. That scene, man. And to be honest with you, Dylan, I love it, man. You son of a bitch. And I love how it doesn't cut out the bitch. It's like, you son of a bitch. Because if they were to do it today, they just cut out the final word. But the Predators are like, you son of a bitch. I mean, obviously, that's a scene that, again, will never be forgotten, ever, in cinema. It's, I mean, been memed to hell, but still,
To
obviously,
hell.
the significance behind it is also very good. And that whole movie is just so memorable. So many memorable lines in it. It's. I mean, his roles have been legend. And probably most Gen Zers will now know Carl Weathers from The Mandalorian. From
Mandalorian.
The Mandalorian, for which I didn't know he received this Emmy nomination for best support for best. What was it? Best outstanding guest actor in a drama series. But he had a very strong, very strong performance in Mandalorian. So that's good to see. Even in his later years, still being remembered. Plus, I didn't mention this. He also directed a couple of episodes in The Mandalorian as well.
Yeah. He did. I think was it the first season, if I'm not mistaken.
Even in the third, there was one. I forgot. I know it was like, I think the third season. There was one. He definitely directed one or two in the third season as well.
I remember discussing it like because we were discussing the ones directed by Bryce Dallas Howard
Yes.
and the ones directed by Carl Weathers, and I
Yes.
think we were saying well directed, but the script was not good
Yes,
because of
exactly.
certain dialogue was quite strange.
Exactly.
But as
The
far
script
as
was not
direction was
convincing.
quite yeah, exactly.
Definitely. So rest in peace, Carl Weathers. You will most definitely be missed. So, Franco, with this sad news,
Back
done.
to your normal broadcast. Hello, guys. Sorry for the delay. I just needed an extra 5 minutes, just to get ready for this weekly updates on our movie binges. Somewhat mostly Andrea that does the binges, because since he's a teacher and he does nothing special. I'm joking. No. But he does watch a lot. I mean, he's beating me. I used to watch a lot. It's interesting because I used to watch a lot, much more when I was younger. Then again, I mean, it's funny. It's my job, my videographer's job, and I should be watching more stuff. But whenever I make time, like this weekend, and after your recommendation, I really thoroughly enjoyed The Promised Land. It is what Napoleon. I think it
What
is what Napoleon
Napoleon?
was supposed to be, because it was so enjoyable. By the way,
Oh, so good.
hi to all the people that we have in chat. Say hi to us. We're ready to interact. Yeah, and I also watched one episode of Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I really I enjoyed it. I mean, it goes a bit meta, it eases you in basically.
Yes. Franco, do you think, from what you've seen so far, do you think it could be, because I put up a quick TikTok today when I finished watching all of it. Do you think it could be this year's beef?
I don't know. Oh wow, okay. Who knows?
I mean, I've watched it all, so obviously I'm going to review it later on.
Mala, review it
Oh, I
at the
know.
very last thing, because I don't want to watch. No, so far, like a quick. Obviously, you review it all, but the first episode, there was one scene in particular I really liked it, and it was like super crunchy. I liked it, like it came out of nowhere almost, but the sense of urgency finally, it's like the story was shoved forward. That Promised Land, that's it mostly. Oh, and before I forget, please guys, recently I've been working on a documentary produced by Malta Today and Wayne Flask about the victims of the construction industry in Malta. And there was the first episode today with Jean Paul Sophia's mother, Isabel Bonnici. Please do check it out. It's the first episode. I would say that my favorite episode would be. There's two favorite episodes actually. It would be 3 and episode 4, part 2. 3 is with Lamin Jaita.
It's on
Yeah,
the
you can
screen
watch
now.
it.
This is episode
Yeah.
1, right, Franco?
Yeah, you can watch it on Facebook, and you'll you basically get to know more in detail the story and the behind the scenes of it all. Obviously, Isabel gives a very emotional interview. Do check it out and stay tuned for the rest of the episodes.
And there's your Facebook as well. Nice, nice. We'll definitely watch
I'm
it after the podcast today,
mostly
Franco.
mostly I was involved with some filming but mostly it was editing. But well done, Wayne Flask, and also Justin Merley for providing us with the music. Yeah, pretty local endeavor.
Nice, nice. Good to see attention being given to this massive issue in Maltese society as well. Anything else, Franco? You want to talk about?
Otherwise, I was
Sorry.
doing.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what I've been doing is focusing more on coding. Yesterday, I tried something and it didn't work, but apparently, I'm not sure if it's something to do with Apple and Windows. It's really strange. But yeah, I'm keep on studying hard to see where I can apply coding and 3D and whatnot. So it's very so far, but I'm very excited.
Okay, good to hear. Mela, my case, I watched a bit of stuff. First of all, with regard to series, I basically finished Percy Jackson and the Olympians. Put up a TikTok about that as well. Follow us on TikTok, by the way, if you haven't done so already. I'm basically trying to put up a TikTok every day from Monday to Friday.
Nice.
Weekends I take off. But,
Influencer, good.
Yeah, doing all that movie talk, influencing.
Yeah, movie talk.
So with regard to Percy Jackson and the Olympians, I can actually bring that up on screen now. With regard to Percy Jackson and the Olympians, I would say the opening of that series was very solid. And then kind of like midway through, the show just lagged just a little bit. And it was a bit disappointing midway through. It's like the story just kind of like halted, it ground to a halt. The mid episodes were a little weak, but thankfully the final 2 episodes were very, very strong. Thanks especially to the actors who appeared in the final couple of episodes. I can bring up the episodes here. I would say these final 2 episodes, especially when we meet Zeus in episode 8,
And
especially in episode 7.
Hades.
we
They
meet
said Hades was
exactly.
quite.
Very, very good in episode 7. So I would say the quality, I think the ratings are, a bit mixed. But I was surprised episode 6 was very weak. And in fact, I completely agree with the rating. Actually, I would give it a lower rating.
Oh, look, there's
especially
me.
Considering there's Alexander Hamilton in the episode.
That's me.
It's Franco, Mr. Alexander Hamilton, who had a very, very small role, unfortunately, in the episode. I thought he was going to have a big, big role. I mean, and he's just a small, tiny part of that episode.
Oh, when they, I really hate it when they do it. They make it seem like it's a huge role.
Yes.
It's just how much I hate it.
Especially when it's a well-known actor, and an actor that someone like me, for example, I'd be very much looking forward to seeing him in the show. And then it's just like 5 minutes in the show, and that's it, which is unfortunate. But like I said, episode 7 and episode 8 were very, very strong episodes. Episode 8 was the strongest. Franco, I was surprised how good the CGI was in it. I was really surprised how good the CGI was in it. Apparently, the budget wasn't cheap. The budget was not cheap at all. But in the final episode, when they go to, I don't think it's a spoiler that eventually they go to Mount Olympus. The CGI was very strong. And even when they meet Hades, the whole scene and the setup for Hades in the underworld was really, really solid. There's also the three-headed dog. I forgot what the name of the
Cerberus.
Cerberus, thank you. That was very, very good as well. So it was really solid CGI. Very impressed by the CGI. But yeah, I would say watch it if you're someone like me who grew up reading books and watching movies of all these teenage fantasies, like Percy Jackson, like Harry Potter, like Narnia, like Aragon, like all these different movies and books. If you're a fan of those and you want some hit of nostalgia, you're like, oh, I wish I could go back to when I was 12, 13 and and I would be so excited to read the next book in the Aragon series or the next book in Chronicles of Narnia. If you're that kind of person, I think Percy Jackson and the Olympians could be a nice little hit of nostalgia for you. I think it would work out fine.
I
If
I
not,
hope they do. I hope they do an Artemis Fowl um, uh, series. Actually, I don't know if you heard of. I think is it? No, this is Rick Riordan, right? The
Rick
author
Riordan,
of.
yes, the author of Percy Jackson is Rick
Okay,
Riordan.
no, because Artemis Fowl is Jon Colfer, and the movie was also not up to standard. It was.
I skipped the movie because exactly I heard the film wasn't great. In fact, I'm looking at it now on IMDb. It's 4.3.
Oh my god! Oof, tough.
And this, oh my god, just open the first scene just on IMDb. The CGI is, oh boy, horrific.
No, but it's also quite dated. By the way, I saw recently. Speaking of other things, I saw these two people reacting for the first time to Constantine.
Okay, I love Constantine.
I
That is
I, I
such an
was
underrated movie.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the reactions and I saw some of the scenes, and again, the movie holds, and even like they said, it's quite has a neo noir kind of feeling.
It does, it does. I
And
need to rewatch it actually. Now you're mentioning it. I think that's a fun rewatch.
yeah, that's one thing. And secondly, hopefully we get to see the sequel. Hopefully,
True. Now you mention it. That's
I
very
mean,
true.
it would be if they keep the same setting, and because even I was noticing how well shot it is, how well lit it is, and for its time the CGI does
CGI was
hold
very
itself.
good. Yes.
Yeah, it
I
does
remember the
hold.
CGI being really good in that in Constantine. Yeah.
It didn't do well. I remember liking it a lot, but it didn't do well with the critics. But if
No, it
you
did
know,
not.
if you see Rotten Tomatoes, it's very highly regarded by the audience as well.
hmm So, what else did I watch this week? It's good I make a list of. Obviously, I watched all episodes of Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Franco.
I was gonna say something about gaming. I wanted to see the story of Bioshock. I genuinely like the story rather than seeing the gameplay. And Madonna, yes, I saw a gameplay of Suicide Squad, Kill
Oh
the
boy,
Justice
we're
League.
going to talk about Suicide Squad. In fact,
Oh,
I wanted to show you a video, but I won't spoil it, so that
yeah.
I can have the fresh reaction from you when I show you the video. But we'll get to that in the news then. So Mr. and Mrs. Smith, of course, which I'll be reviewing later on. I just finished the latest episode of Masters of the Air, which I very much have been enjoying. I wouldn't say I'm loving it. I am definitely liking it though. I think it's a well-made show. I think the last episode, I mean, it's just the mission from start to finish, 45 minutes non-stop mission, up minus like 5 minutes at the start of the mission briefing. Very, 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 very strong episode 3. I really, really liked it. I thought the first episode was also very good. Second episode was probably the weakest of the 3. In fact, 8.1 IMDb. I thought the first episode was very good. I've been hearing some criticism, however, on the CGI, how much CGI is being used. And my thoughts are, like, I mean, fair enough. I'm always on the side of less CGI is better. But if you're making a war movie with planes flying and exploding and crashing, I mean,
I mean, you need CGI.
you kind of need CGI. I don't think they're
it's
going to be blowing up real planes.
it's a period piece to tell you the truth.
It is a period piece, exactly. So there's that element as well to it. But I mean, I'd love to see those people's comments then with regard to Top Gun, because Top Gun Maverick had a lot of hidden CGI. The only thing is, which I will agree on, maybe the CGI here isn't always perfectly hidden like it was in Top Gun Maverick. I would say that I agree on, yes. So the CGI sometimes looks a little video gamey, which was one of my main criticisms last week when I was reviewing it. But I mean, apart from there, I would say the characters are still a little underwritten. You know what this series is missing? Franco, have you watched Band of Brothers?
No, not yet.
Oh,
Not yet. Sorry.
that's a must watch. Basically, This series needed the first episode of Band of Brothers, which is basically the training episode, which is the perfect episode to set up the characters and for us to really get to know the characters. Kind of either the kind of persons to panic under pressure. Are they more cool under pressure? You get to know their likes. You get to empathize with them because obviously you see more about their personal lives. The series decided to go straight into the action. And I disagree with that. I heavily disagree with that decision. But minus that and minus some weak character work, I would say overall it's a blast. It's a great series. It's a great series so far. Looking forward to the next episode. Unfortunately, I did not get to watch Monsieur Spade this week because I was very busy. So I will update you on Monsieur Spade next episode.
My father said my father highly recommends it. He's enjoying it. So
it is very good, very very good.
That's all the update I have.
It is very good. I'm pretty certain it's still very good. And with regard to movies, I watched 3 movies this week. First of all, I had a nice little rewatch of Memories of Murder with my family, and we loved it. Obviously, I mean the final train scene. That's the whole scene. So much imagery, so much symbolism. One in the tunnel, where there's the tunnel and there's the alleged murderer.
Pamunya. It means like, have you eaten? It's like, did you have food? Oh god.
Such a great movie, man. Such a great movie. And rewatching it, I'm like, this isn't in my top 4 on Letterboxd. It's one of those that makes a claim, yeah.
And they recently caught the murderer.
Yes, they did. I looked it up. Yeah, apparently, like 2-3 years ago. And apparently, this movie was mentioned in the court case as well. The murderer said he watched it, and apparently he felt no emotions watching it.
Yeah, I mean, no shit, you're a murderer.
and then I saw a comment about it as well. How and they really put it really well. Like in the final scene, you see the local detective, like Detective Park Duman, Sang Kanho. You see him staring at the screen, and it's like he's staring at the murderer. And I'm like, I'd love to just explore the real murderer's thoughts, just as the detective was staring at the screen and he was looking at the detective's eyes. And the detective is like staring straight into his eyes. I'd love just to be able to explore the real murderer's minds and see what was going through his head. But fucking fantastic movie. Fantastic movie. I watched that. I actually watched Ghostbusters 2 because I just noticed that I hadn't watched Ghostbusters 2. I know it's heavily criticized, definitely not a fan favorite. I didn't mind it. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I thought it was fine. Much less sexism than in the first Ghostbusters movie, which is a plus as always. But obviously, then there's much less humor as well than in the first Ghostbusters. And the antagonist, the ghost antagonist, is, and the character, the antagonist is
who's
weak as hell.
The soldier. What's his name?
It's the character was him, Dr. Janos Poha. He's kind of like controlled by the ghost, and the ghost, the antagonist,
Vigo. Yeah.
Yes, Vigo. Very weak, very like literally inexistent, basically, in the movie. I think it's a solid second movie. I get the hate. Why? Because after obviously the first Ghostbusters was a big breakout hit. Getting this kind of like weaker second movie, obviously fans would have been frustrated. And Franco, as you know, this week I managed to watch Poor Things.
Finally.
I managed to watch Poor Things.
Okay. Let's hear it.
So, I loved it. I thought it was fresh, although basically it is a post. I would say, if I had to describe it, I wrote the comment down. Oh, there we are. It's basically, I would call it a post-modern feminist adaptation of Frankenstein. If I had to describe it. postmodern adaptation of Frankenstein. So, however, it took the whole concept of Frankenstein and it really, really freshened it up. And this is not something you often say today, where obviously everything has been covered, almost everything has been covered, and finding something fresh and something new is a one-off experience watching movies. Most movies, I personally get a bit of deja vu watching now. Like, oh, this reminds me of that. Oh, yeah, I feel like I've watched this before. But this, I never got that feeling with Poor Things.
It
It's
seems
so
like
fresh.
it's the era of Frankenstein. There's a Guillermo del Toro movie coming out,
Yes.
and there's also something called Lisa Frankenstein.
Lisa Frankenstein coming out in March. Yeah.
And speaking, remember I told you about A Girl and Her Monster?
A Girl and Her Monster. Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Do check it out. It's also a spin on the Frankenstein story. But I would love to see what you think. Not many people have watched it, and I feel like it's a very indie. The budget shows, the effects shows, but story-wise, I felt it quite solid.
Mhm. Will do. But just to like in short, just to give my thoughts, I'll put the whole review now on Letterboxd. I would say I'm not sure if this is Lanthimos's best. Definitely competing with The Favorite. For me, The Favorite is up there as his best. Personally, I adore The Favorite. This is competing. Possibly with further rewatches, could take the list as my number one. That's actually a list I should put on Letterboxd now.
And
My Lanthimos.
and the set design. Tell me you didn't like the set design.
No.
Beautiful
Now I
it was.
understand why you said that. It should be favorite for the set design, but then for the whole production design of it all. Costumes.
Oh my god!
I don't think there's any question that Poor Things should win the costumes. I think the costumes in Poor Things are out of this world great, like amazing. Like I don't know. Actually, I wrote down the name because I was so impressed by the costumes. This James Price and Shona Heath, who were the production designers.
Oh my
Unfortunately,
god.
I don't
Yeah.
have the name of the costume designers, but props to them as well, because holy shit, were the costumes so impressive. And everything about like visually, it looked great. I would say like a little, there were some tiny pacing issues for me, Franco, if I had to think about negatives. There were some moments where the movie lagged a little bit. I would say probably on the boat.
No,
It lagged a little bit on the boat. I would say even maybe in the introduction, it lagged just a tiny little bit.
yes.
But apart from that,
that was one thing. Like until things geared up.
yes,
I feel like this is I don't know if you'd agree with me saying that this is the most accessible of Lanthimos movies.
100% for how weird it is at times. This is also his most accessible movie. Like
And,
thematically, it's very clear.
How was the cinema at you? Because our when I went to watch it with Cassandra and her husband, the cinema was quite full, and nobody. I don't think anybody left.
Where did you watch it, Franco?
Embassy as well.
Embassy. First of all, I loved the quality of the screen and the audio. It was brilliant. Like I couldn't imagine watching this anywhere else. I'm sorry to say, and we're not. I mean,
on a mobile screen, on the Apple Vision Pro, the Apple Vision Pro.
I mean, I can imagine watching it at home with my sound system, because the soundtrack is also brilliant. Such a good soundtrack.
Yes.
It won't win at the Oscars because Ludwig Göransson is a genius, but still is a very solid soundtrack, and really brings out the emotions, and really like the pacing is helped a lot by the soundtrack as well. But with regard to the cinema, I watched it at a weird time. There were like two couples in the cinema and an older woman close to me. I was wondering if she would leave or not, but she actually laughed a lot. She seemed to love the movie. It was quite a nice experience, actually. I was surprised she didn't leave us. I was expecting her to leave.
No, because that's what I noticed. And at first, people were like, should we laugh or should we not laugh? And then like every single time, like it was such a great experience. Like listening to all the people laughing. And I mean,
Definitely.
Mark Ruffalo.
Oh my God, he is so bloody funny. He's very funny. He's so funny. Have we ever seen him in this kind of role before, Mark Ruffalo?
No, not really. But it's good. This was a very courageous movie for everyone. Emma Stone
Yes,
for
Emma
sure. I mean,
Stone.
I
100% Emma
mean,
Stone.
I think the best. I saw this on Letterboxd. Someone said that this is Barbie for mentally ill people,
Yes, made me laugh so much.
which is kind of like Emma Stone did not get, but this was too late too for her to get a nomination, right?
Of course she's nominated. Man, of course
Yeah,
she's
she's
nominated.
nominated.
And she's the favorite to win. She's the favorite right now.
Emma Stone.
She's the hot favorite to win best
All right,
actress.
all right.
Man.
No,
I
she
mean, with
would
a
deserve.
performance like that,
She would
let's be
deserve it.
honest, she definitely
And
would deserve it.
apparently they filmed out of order. So can you? That's even
Oh
imagine.
shit.
You saw the character, how the character, what an arc she has.
Yeah,
Imagine filming that out of order, man.
that's crazy. That's crazy.
And
Um,
finally, and yes, what Joe said. Finally, some sex on screen.
holy shit, that's a lot of sex on screen. Ah, wait. but never gratuitous. Never
No,
gratuitous.
not at all. It was
It's a very
because
important narrative
it
part of the
is. It
narrative,
is
right?
like
Her
like
sexual
the
reawakening.
the joke about it. Why don't people do it more often? That
Yeah,
was such a great line.
furious jumping.
Fierce jumping.
Yeah, oh, so good, and very again the kind of movie with very memorable lines. We're missing
Yes,
those
yes,
kinds of movies, man, which give you a quote like "furious jumping." It is something that you will never forget.
yes, guys.
And
People in the
the
chat,
dialogue,
have you seen Poor
yes.
Things?
Let us know your thoughts. We have 5 viewers right now. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Guys, let us know what you think about Poor Things. What do you think about the dialogue, Francos? I think whoever wrote
I
this
mean,
must be
it's
Jesus.
it was the same guy.
Oh,
I
Tony
mean, it's
McNamara. Yeah.
exactly the same guy who also did Catherine the Great as well.
Yes. It shows there's that black humor, that wittiness about it.
Ooh.
So much wittiness. So I love these kinds of movies, which are it's very serious topics, but it's all done with a bit of a not the Marvel wink, the Yorgos
No,
Lanthimos
no,
wink.
no, 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 no.
Which is
That's all.
obviously very different. And what did you think about the cinematography, Franco? The way it was
Amazing.
shot was very interesting, right?
Amazing. The kind of lenses that they use. I'm always
Yes.
amazed how he composes with the very wide angle. Like
Yes.
the
You know what it
it's
reminded me of, Franco? And it's reminded me of something very that does this very bad, and this is obviously done very well. Rebel Moon.
oh my
Because Rebel Moon also goes for the wide
yeah,
shot.
the Petzval. There was the Petzval. It's by the way, that lens was called the Petzval, and it used to be used back in the like in these times, basically Victorian times, to take photographs, and it does that effect,
Hmm.
that swirly
Yep,
bokeh
exactly.
effect, basically, which can also be done by sorry, a bit of nerd talk, by the Russian lens Helios. Any like aspiring filmmakers out there, Helios 44-2 is a lens that you should get, and it's a very budget lens. It's a great lens. Forget the Sony and the 1000 sharp lenses. Helios gives you such a smooth, nice look to
Hmm.
your footage. I
Hmm.
miss using it actually because most of my stuff I have to use a normal lens.
Hmm. So yeah, I also loved the cinematography, like just the whole style to it. Such a clear imagery, but even just the set design is helped so much by it.
Oh,
And like the whole visuals, everything looks so crisp and so colorful. They put up the contrast for this. Which that contrast, very
oh
heavy
yes.
contrast, but
But
it works
um,
for what it's going for.
yeah, but you know that the sets were actually full. It's not one room to another. Eh? Like if they were to go to the the oyster bar was there. Eh?
Mistra. Damn,
Uh,
that's a lot
no,
of work.
and And the sky
All
was
constructed,
actually,
right? Franco, all
yes.
constructed. Apart minus,
Uh,
I think the only one that wasn't constructed was the palace at the end. And there was a reason behind that. I remember reading this.
the
Actually, I remember
palace
hearing this by Lantimos.
in Alexandria.
No, when Bella goes to see her former husband, goes with her former
Mm.
husband, that palace, apparently they did it on purpose. They went back on the contrast and everything to give it a more realistic, more realistic look. And the whole point of it was that part was when, oh God, I can't remember what he said exactly, but he gave a reason why they changed the style of the visuals for those particular scenes in the palace.
That's in Budapest. That's in Budapest. That castle is in Budapest. I remember. When with what's his name, Christopher Abbott.
Exactly. When she goes back with her previous husband.
I'm really liking Christopher Abbott's choices. He was in not Successor, no, Possessor. He was in Possessor. He was in Secretary. I was gonna say of.
Who was he in Possessor? I don't know.
He was the guy that was being, for lack of better words, possessed by. He was being like controlled by what's her name?
Madonna, I already forgot the whole movie. Andrea Riseborough.
Andrea Riseborough.
Yeah. First Man. I'm looking at the list. He did First Man. Had you watched Sanctuary, Franco?
Yes, Sanctuary. That's the one, because he there's also Margaret Qualley in this movie as well.
Some interesting characters.
Very.
And you know what we're going to see him in, Franco? And I'm really excited for this. Craven the Hunter.
I thought Borderlands, not Craven the Hunter.
Craven the Hunter. Hell to the... So if you had to give it a rating, Franco, so we move on now. What would you give it?
Poor Things. I gave it a 4.5, if I'm not mistaken.
Same here, 4.5. Same here, 4.5. Same here. I agree.
That 0.5 is exactly like you said. It took a bit to get into gear. There was a bit of lag in the boat scene for sure. I just remember the scene where she's like gives the money to.
Oh fuck! To the two workers.
To the sailors. Yes, we're gonna give them to the poor people. And her prostitute friend. I'm a socialist.
Great stuff. But with that, viewers and listeners, let us know your thoughts about Poor Things in the comment section below, because now we are going to get into the trailers. Not too many trailers to talk about. Just a quick note. I watched the full trailer of Back to Black, which we had commented about already a couple of weeks ago. Still not convinced. Don't know if you watched the full trailer, Frank, or not.
I'm not convinced.
Not too convinced at all. Not that Marisabella is giving a bad performance at all. I think she's doing a decent job.
It's
I'm going to watch it just for the performance.
It's a Bohemian Rhapsody kind of biopic, as it seems. And even Boy's biopic was, I don't know if it's the same team. Can you check just in case? Because even Bowie's biopic, I didn't bother watching it. When I saw the trailer, it's like a character like Bowie, you give him this kind of a biopic. For fuck's sake, eh?
I hadn't watched it either.
Apparently, Moon Age Daydream is better. Moon Age Daydream is a documentary, but it also tries to like give something different.
You're talking about Stardust, right? Stardust. It's Johnny Flynn, who I just reviewed in his latest movie. Jesus, what movie was that? Oh, I reviewed it last week and I already forgot. What did I see him in?
Color Purple.
No, One Life. I saw him in One Life as well.
One Life.
He was the younger Nicholas Winton with Anthony Hopkins, basically.
Okay.
No, I haven't watched Stardust, so I can't comment about it. What was the reactions? Critical reactions?
No, 90% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Film has a score of 35 out of 100 based on 19 reviews, indicating generally unfavorable reviews Ground control to Major Tom. Stardust did not put its helmet on. Lol. Refer to the production as velvet garbage. Simply a
lol.
mediocre jerk who needs role-playing therapy to deal with his demons. Peter Bradshaw calls it a strained, frustrating concoction that doesn't do its subject justice.
Sometimes
So,
we
yeah,
agree,
very
Peter
negative.
Bradshaw, sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. I haven't watched Stardust, so I can't comment about it, to be honest. But looking at this, I mean, it does, even visually, it looks really dull as well. It's not doing anything, to bring you into the real world of Amy Winehouse. You would think an Amy Winehouse biopic would feel a little more creative rather than the by the books
Yeah,
biopic it seems like we're getting.
Sam Taylor Johnson, in a way, yeah. Sam Taylor Johnson is not a. But she hasn't been doing lots of. I mean, she did 50 Shades of Grey.
Ooh.
Nowhere Boy was quite a decent. What should I say? Was quite a decent movie.
I haven't watched it, so I can't comment. But looking at the director's work, Sam Taylor Johnson. I remember I had a whole list of her work. Yeah, 50 Shades of Grey, of course. Million Little Pieces. Nowhere. You watched Nowhere Boy, Franco?
Yes, it was very decent. I didn't mind it. It wasn't groundbreaking, but I generally didn't mind it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but this is not looking promising at all. I think we don't need to really comment too much about it. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago already.
Yeah.
This one I wanted to talk about, however. This one looks very, very interesting. Guy Ritchie's The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. This looks very, very interesting. This is a nice little trailer we got here. So let's get into it. Action director Guy Ritchie has another busy year ahead of him, starting with his The Gentleman sequel series on Netflix this March. I forgot about that completely. He has The Gentleman series coming. His return to the big screen in April, however, promises one of the most incredible true stories of World War II that is largely overlooked in history. The first trailer for the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare sets the stage for that tale, featuring high-stakes drama and a pinch of Ritchie's signature comedy as Henry Cavill and his fellow elite soldiers battle the Nazis through unconventional means. Co-written by Ritchie along with Arash Amel, Paul Tamisi, and Eric Johnson, the film takes its cues from Damian Lewis's book, The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, how Churchill's secret warriors set Europe ablaze and gave birth to modern Black Ops, as well as recently declassified documents from the British War Department. What they detail is the escapades of a group of highly skilled misfits brought together under Winston Churchill and author Ian Fleming to torch the Nazi war effort through sabotage the Third Reich never saw coming. Each member brings their own specific skills to the group, with Cavill leading the charge as the rugged secret agents take out key figures and derail key Nazi operations. This looks great. I mean, Guy Ritchie is a hit and miss director. I would say more hits than misses, to be fair. But this looks really, really interesting. Franco, I don't know if you've watched the trailer.
I've seen the trailer. Is that what's his name? The next slide. Nope, not the one before.
This one? Franco.
No, the next one. Oh yeah.
Oh, this is Reacher. Yeah, Reacher. Who
As a creature,
I will keep on saying should be the next Batman.
Huh.
I mean, look at those guns.
Huh. Well,
I
yeah,
would say he needs to be the next Batman. I would, in my opinion.
There was some news. I didn't read into it about the next Batman and the Batman 2. There was some not so promising news.
No. What's his name? Matt Reeves said that's not true. And James Gunn said that's not true. James Gunn said not true at all. It's 100% coming out. And currently Matt Reeves, I believe, is writing the story, working on the story. But the focus right now is more on the Penguin series, I believe. Which is why they're taking it easy on Batman 2.
No, for sure. Yeah. I mean, time. At least some James Gunn is giving it time. Carey Lewis is Ian Fleming. I
Excuse
do
me?
like the Kerry. Man of his surname is very strange. Is very difficult. Kerry Ules, Elwes, Kerry
Not sure.
Elwes.
Franco, where did you see it?
No, he's uh, Ministry of. Let me check. Who's
Ungentlemanly Warfare. Coming out in April, extra. Coming out very soon.
listen, Alex Pettifer. Yeah, Kerry Ules, Elwes, Kerry Elwes.
Oh, Elwes. Oh, which man, that's her name.
Kerry Ules. That's how I say it.
Use.
Um,
Interesting. Interesting. I'm most interested to see Cavill in a hopefully good movie because apparently with the upcoming with one upcoming for
Argyle.
Malta, Argyle, apparently it's not great. Apparently it's not great at all, which is an issue.
Ah,
Which is an issue. I'm going to go watch it on Wednesday.
this
Actually, no, not
Wednesday,
on
you're going to
Wednesday.
watch it.
Probably actually maybe Thursday or in the weekend, or possibly
Uh,
Friday.
Afternoon or
Depends. Actually, I might go during the weekend because Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday I have stuff on all those days. Possibly
okay,
Friday. Friday I could maybe make a run for it and go watch it.
keep me posted. That's all.
Yes,
So
we'll do, Franco. But it doesn't look great from the reviews. Anyways, so hopefully this is a good role for Cavill because he really deserves to have a good role. I mean, it looks fun. Definitely looks fun. It looks like a twist of Inglorious Bastards, a bit of the classic Guy Ritchie humor in it as well. I think it looks promising. I really do think it's promising. What do you think, Franco, overall from this?
yeah,
movie?
it looks promising. Oh, I mean, I hope the CGI won't be as bad as in um, uh, what was it that we saw? The the off. So it's boomer heads at the moment. We saw that. I remember you saying when the plane comes out, and we're like, "Oh my god, that plane really looked bad." The Covenant.
Oh, the Covenant. Yes. That CGI was, but that was a very good movie. I thought that was a very,
No,
very,
it was
very
a good
watchable movie.
movie,
Just the
and then
CGI because of the budget. This looks like it has a bigger budget. That to be fair.
for sure. So thank God.
Yeah, this looks like it definitely has a bigger budget, to be fair. It looks fun, creative. Also, really looking forward to seeing, I don't know if I'm saying her name correctly, Isa Gonzalez, who I just saw. And we just see just 2-3 minutes of her in the opening of Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Oh, okay.
She was the Jane, the original Jane, in the opening of
Okay.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith. And
Yeah.
I thought she looked great holding a gun. So
She looked gorgeous.
yes,
I have to say
yes,
as
yes,
well.
yes, yes. And Stellan Skarsgård, man, I want to see more of Stellan Skarsgård. Yeah.
No, it's
Well,
not.
I mean, it's the whole point of.
That's not Stellan Skarsgård. That's
Hold on, I mixed them up. I mix up their names.
I mean this one of the Skarsgård boys basically.
One of the Skarsgård, his son, not Stellan Skarsgård, his son.
Alexander.
Alexander. I mixed up all their names.
He's such a handsome man, Madonna.
But I think it was the whole point of that scene to have two very recognizable faces appearing, and I'm not going to spoil anything else. There's a Henry Golding in this as well. Apparently, if for anyone who watches Crazy Rich Asians, they'll recognize him. Yeah, so it's definitely an interesting cast, indeed, and obviously, what the fuck, Johnny Depp as Winston Churchill.
What?
What? I had no idea.
Just a second. I want to see this.
What? There was no image of Johnny Depp here. Jesus. Okay, so apparently Johnny Depp, according to IMDb, Johnny Depp as Winston Churchill. By the way, in Fleming, Freddie Fox is Ian Fleming. Franco.
Okay.
Freddie Fox is Ian Fleming. Yeah, great blend of humor and action. And looking forward to April 19th when it releases in the cinemas. Hopefully, it will release here in Malta. I would assume this is the kind of movie that releases in Maltese cinemas.
No, for sure. I mean,
I would assume that.
action goes down well in cinemas. in
Yes,
Malta,
yes,
for
definitely.
sure.
And with that, let's move on to the main topic of the day, which is next on Netflix 2024, because Netflix released a look at all their biggest shows and movies coming out in 2024. And in 2024, get ready for what's next on Netflix with the return of favorites like Squid Game, Bridgerton, The Diplomat, Umbrella Academy, Rebel Moon, and Beverly Hills
Uh,
Cop, and brand new shows and movies like Three Body Problem, Avatar, Back in Action.
Andrea,
Yeah,
just a quick note, because whenever we go out of this your screen, I'm the main host. So just to switch this this
short term.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. Back in Action and Atlas. Here is your first look at some of Netflix's biggest shows, movies, and events. So, Franco, I don't know if you had a look at this. I hope
No.
Netflix will let us go through the whole list. But there's some very interesting stuff. I'm just going to skim through it really quickly. I mean, Rebel Moon Part 2, maybe it's better than Part 1. I wanted to ask you, Franco, did you watch The Diplomat Season 1?
None at all.
I'm going to try and watch it in the coming weeks because I've heard good stuff. She's also, the actress is nominated for Best Actress.
She was in The Americans as well, if I'm not mistaken. No?
And she's going to be appearing in an upcoming movie, which I can't remember which it is, but I'll look it up in a bit. Black Doves. This looks interesting. Keira Knightley in this kind of like spy thriller. Not sure if it's a series or a movie. I believe it's a series, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
And does look interesting. This I have no idea what it is. Back in Action, but there we have. What's his name?
Jamie Foxx.
Oh, Jamie Foxx. Right. Rebel Moon Part 2, which don't know what to expect. Griselda, which Christian is watching it right now. She's having a very good time watching it.
Sofia Vergara
Vergara.
quite in a transformation, eh? So like
Yes,
it's
apparently so.
unrecognizable.
And obviously, stunning actress, which always helps, of course. This I've never watched. I have no idea what this is. Outer Banks. I know it's
Banks.
very popular in Malta, though, because it's always #1 on my Netflix when it releases. Apparently,
Okay.
I don't know if it's lots of teenage. I mean, I know
Drama
here,
for
but
sure.
yeah. Then Bridgerton. I know, Franco, you're not a fan of this, but this is one of my, one of the shows that I wouldn't even call it a guilty pleasure because I think it's a very well-produced show.
Your comfort show. No, I mean it's
Girl crush for Sofia Vergara. She loves her. This is a comfort watch. Yeah, I would call it a comfort watch. Yeah, it's a very simple premise. Of course, it's a very simple premise, but visually, I mean, they have a very big. I would assume they have a very big budget for it because the set pieces and the costumes and the hair are always perfect. But it's all done in a very smart, winky fashion. There's always that like little bit of humor behind it all, but in a smart way, not in the Marvel way. I keep like using Marvel as the how not to do it, and then even something like Bridgerton. Listen, it's not poor things, but it still manages to do that little bit of humor here and there in the show and social commentary in a smarter way, I believe. So I'm very much looking forward to this, Bridgerton. I will definitely binge it when it comes out. We've mentioned The Diplomat already, which looks interesting. Cobra Kai, which, Franco, I don't know if you're a fan of this.
I'm not watching any Cobra Kai. Sweet Tooth, they said it's worth watching.
Yeah, I believe this is season 3. I had started season 1, but I had gone abroad just as I started season 1 after starting it, and when I got back, I don't know, I just didn't continue it.
It's already final season. When you came back, it's already final season.
Yeah. So then there's Umbrella Academy, which I've never started, unfortunately.
Never seen. That's not me.
Can't comment about it. Are you a fan of Beverly Hills, Franco?
I have yet to see the original ones.
Yeah.
I saw the ratings, how it was and whatnot. maybe a nostalgia cash grab. Who knows?
Possibly.
Who
Yeah.
knows?
But with Eddie Murphy
But
returning,
it's
so
it's
there's that.
directed by F. Gary Gray, right?
I have no idea, Franco. Really no idea.
If I'm not
I'm just
mistaken.
not interested at all in it, to be honest with you.
Okay, Hannah, now just a second. Axel F.
I'm just not interested at all in it. Axel F, apparently it's called.
Yeah, and
But still, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Kevin Bacon, Eddie Murphy.
No, Mark Molloy. Kevin
Director
Bacon.
Mark Molloy. With a good cast. That's a very good cast.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Yeah, he's got quite a good cast.
This one, Franco. This one I'm very excited to talk about. Don't know about you.
I'd better get. This is March, right? So I have time to read the. I have time to read the next two books because this is.
You read the first book, Franco?
Yes, highly recommended.
I've been seeing some comments. In fact, I when I was looking up Three Body Problem, because I haven't read the book, I found this comment. Let me know what you think about it. Three Body Problem is the best sci-fi novel I have ever read. The scale, the depth, and the storyline will just blow your mind away. Best description of the book is after reading it, when you look up in the night, you won't see the same thing anymore. Highly recommended books.
There was a moment I do highly recommend it. In the first book, there was a moment where all of a sudden I felt a shiver down my spine because I'm like, holy shit! Like if that would be true, it's like, and it does. I think as far as scope goes, yes, and it's much reflected in the trailer here. Huh? And read it because there is also an element of what they call a cosmic horror. There's something bigger than you which you cannot comprehend and also defeat. So there's that.
100%. But there's the whole element of an alien civilization, right, invading Earth, if I understood correctly.
Yep.
But there's also like a murder mystery.
Yes.
There as well. I'm curious how they're going to link all these different genres together. Looks fascinating, though.
No, and it feels like it's going to be quite close to the source material, especially visually. I saw, for example, I can tell you.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
This,
Jesus.
I think I forgot which one is this. Continue. No, it looks beautiful. I like that scene.
Franco,
that scene.
Is this the alien civilization?
You'll see it.
Yeah,
because this is shall I tell you?
No. Actually, don't tell me. Don't tell me.
Okay. But this was a very interesting aspect. I'm like this. I have to admit, this is where the book lost me a bit.
Okay.
But very smart. It's still very smart.
Okay, so it'll be interesting to see how obviously David Benioff and D.B. Weiss will adapt this. I saw a lot of people talking about they don't know how they can actually adapt those books into a movie or a show in this case, because they are very, lots of very conceptual books.
Yes.
Lots of big ideas.
There was a movie, but a Chinese one, if I'm not mistaken. Three Body Problem. It was called only Three Body.
Okay, all right.
Oh wait, this is actually a series as well.
It's a series as well. I think it's such a like so many heavy concepts that I think it's impossible to present in a movie, just 2 hour, 33-hour movie. From the impression I'm getting, again, I haven't read the books.
There's already a series here. It seems like there's already. Yeah.
But Three Body Problem will stream exclusively on Netflix on March 21st, 2024. I will most definitely be binging this. Anything else you wanted to add, Franco?
Nope. No. I'm just looking forward as well. Let's go.
Obviously, another look at Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scargiver, and we can hear Anthony Hopkins either narrating, I'm not sure if he's narrating or it's the robot commenting. Again, obviously, by now everyone knows my thoughts about Rebel Moon Part 1. Let's just say, let's hope maybe Part 2 is a bit better, right? That's all I can say. Now, this, Black Doves, looks very, very interesting, starring Keira Knightley. Looks like a secret agent kind of series. It's again it's Netflix. Oh yes, it's coming up soon, Franco. It's a Netflix series, so it's, to be fair, Netflix is more. I would say Netflix is more. There is so much stuff. It's hard to say it's more hits than misses, but the ones that are meant to be a hit are generally more of a hit than a miss. Let's just put it that way, because they release so much content on their streaming platform. But the big ones are generally fine, if not good. Now, this movie, this is one I'm so excited to watch. Hitman, based on a Texas monthly feature. The film follows a professor turned fake hitman, Gary Johnson, who finds himself in way over his head when he falls heads over heels for a woman who hires him for his supposed skills. As we know, Franco, this movie has been a massive hit at so many film festivals last year. We've been hearing so much about how good this movie is, and we're all crying that this was not released in cinemas. But it is what it is. It's coming out on Netflix on June 7th. Let's just say Glenn Powell is on a run right now. Everything he touches, together with Sydney Sweeney, is gold. Their latest movie, Anyone But You, has reached 150 million at the box office with a 25 million budget, which is really impressive. That is a massive, massive hit. Obviously, directed by the legend Richard Linklater. I think this looks like a definite hit for Netflix. What do you think, Franco?
Yeah, it looks quite different from a Linklater movie, to tell you the truth, because Linklater has a certain style of direction that doesn't he doesn't show his hand, so to speak. I noticed, if you notice, like Before Sunset and Boyhood, they're quieter movies, and this one is much more towards the and I know. Have you ever seen A Scanner Darkly, by the way?
No. I've actually missed out on a lot of his movies. I even missed out on his latest animated movie,
Apollo 10 and a half.
Something and a half. Yeah. I missed out on a lot of his movies.
Yeah, it seems like a different direction, because I had never seen him in an action comedy, to be fair. So I'm looking forward to see what he comes up with.
Definitely. So that's The Hitman. Very excited to watch that. And then lots of other stuff.
Sorry, why is it showing Poor Things here?
Oh, probably yours is behind. Your YouTube is behind.
No. Okay, I'm live again. All right, sorry.
Damsel, which we had commented about the trailer. By the way, Franco, just a quick note. So this Boomcaster, the quality is very good, huh? It's being streamed. I know.
Boomcasters sponsor us. Boomcaster.
The quality of the images is really good, even of our cameras, the way it's. But moving on, Damsel, which we had commented about the trailer. We had said the effect on the dragon man looks pretty good.
Looks pretty, decent, and I think it's another good spin on the damsel in distress story.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to this one, Damsel.
Yes.
Yes. Now, this one, Franco, I had heard nothing about it. American Primeval.
Almost like Revenant.
Yes, exactly what I was thinking as well. Very, very remnant of Revenant. I had heard nothing. About it. American Primeval. Apparently, it's a TV miniseries with 6 episodes. Follows the gritty and adventurous exploration of the birth of the American West, the violent collisions of cults, religions, and men and women fighting for control of the new world. Starring Taylor Kitsch, Tokala Black Elk, Alex Fine.
So
It looks
Taylor Kitsch.
yes,
He's
yes.
an underused,
So
undervalued
underused.
actor still.
Last time I saw him was in that series. Oh, I watched the series The Terminal List, which every critic hated, and I really enjoyed. I
Lallo.
enjoyed that show so much, and critics panned that show. Oh, so much hate for that show. Ah, man. So I remembered so much criticism for it. But that was really good. That was really good. I enjoyed it a lot.
And
Um,
okay. I mean, it's on IMDb. It's 7.9. Huh? So
And yes, yes, I know a lot of people, like a lot of normies, enjoyed it. I enjoyed it as well a lot, and I thought the sequences involving the army were perfectly choreographed. You could tell that you had a lot of people from the army helping with the
mm,
choreography and with the whole battle sequence. It was one of the most realistic battle sequences I've ever seen. Honestly, they really put in a lot of effort.
okay.
Um, it lags at times, yes, I will agree, but it was a fun series. But back on topic. Carry On, which starring oh my god,
Oh, Taron Egerton.
Taron Egerton, the ever reliable Taron Egerton. Don't know much about this.
Ah, J-
Um,
Jason Bateman.
yeah, Jason Bateman. This one,
Sen-
oh man, look at the CGI.
please
Looks
no.
looks
Please
like
no.
a Formula One 2000
My,
game.
my my father won't be happy with this one either, apparently. by
Uh,
the way, by the way, this is
this is
really
a mixed
interesting.
series, by the way.
Okay, but Asaf Kapidi, I don't know. I think I have already mentioned he did Back to Black. He did Amy Winehouse biography. He did a Senna biography, documentary. Sorry, and also Maradona biography. I think those are much. I feel they're far superior entries and films of these about these stars
Mhm. Obviously, we have
than
still
what we're
to watch
seeing.
it. Possibly they're still working on the CGI, but the CGI does not look promising. If this is what you're presenting us with, if that is what you're
I,
presenting us with,
it's annoying him. It's not no, it's not fair on the people working on it. Pero, for heaven's sake,
it does not
you
look
know.
good at all. I'm sorry, but it does not look good at all. Not at all.
Are they using deep fake? Because I'm seeing the face right now. Just a second. Uh bear with me a second.
Yeah, I mean, it does not look good. But obviously, go through it, Franco. I'll comment about the next one in the meantime. We've got Avatar, The Last Airbender, the series. I know there's been some criticism as well about this, about the kind of adaptation that they're going for. I haven't watched the anime, so I can't comment about it. But they were talking about how they removed some of the, I believe, some of the sexism in one of the main antagonists, and fans were angry because that was an important character arc for that character where he learns that what he's doing is wrong and he becomes a better person as a result. Hearing about it, I would say agree more with the fans, but again, I know pretty much nothing about Avatar, so it's hard
Mm,
for me to comment about it. But I think that the series itself looks fine. I don't think the CGI looks awful. I think it looks fine. And after One Piece, I'm going to be a bit more, a bit more forgiving with Netflix. But One Piece was great. This is apparently an army show, 6888, with the Women's Army Corps. I mean,
ah,
it looks interesting. I'm definitely going to watch it, but don't know about my excitement for it. I mean, looks interesting enough. Looks interesting enough. As long as it at least attempts to stick to some kind of historical accuracy, I'm
ah.
I'm 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 fine with it. I'm fine with it. Although I seriously doubt any of this really existed, but could be proven wrong. To be honest with you. Um, for the rest, like I said, Bridgerton, Atlas. This again, I know very little about it,
What's this?
but
Ah, with
after
J Lo.
after Mother, and I know Mother was a big, massive hit for Netflix, one of the most viewed pieces of content Netflix released in 2023. Obviously, they're going to make another thing with J Lo,
J
and
Lo.
that seems to be Atlas, apparently sci-fi. This looks very good. This looks interesting. Eric,
Eric,
starring the legend, one of my favorite actors. Eric,
where
thank you
my
very much.
Cumber bitch is at? Where my Cumber bitch is at? We are Cumber bitches.
Mr. Cumberbatch, one of my all-time right now favorite actors, plying his trade in Hollywood right now. It looks really interesting. The story is about Vincent, a grief-stricken father whose son goes missing, finds solace through his friendship with Eric, the monster that lives under Edgar's bed. Sounds sounds very interesting.
Whoa!
Very,
Oh my
very,
god.
very.
Okay.
And I
That's a tangent and a half.
not what I expected to see from this after seeing this little quick snippet of the story. But I trust in Cumberbatch. His choice in projects is generally, I wouldn't say perfect,
Trustworthy.
but
Yeah.
very, very solid. You know, very solid work. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing this as well. And then back in action. I think that's pretty. I think we covered more or less everything. This
Honestly, the Netflix really lean heavily on spy series. Astra, like we've
they
seen.
love their spy series.
Hey, Astra, Gray Man. What was it called? Red something.
Red
There
Notice.
was Red Notice, Heart of Stone. I mean,
Madonna, Heart of Stone.
how I'm sorry, it's up, bro. They need to up their game and the spy stuff, for God's sake.
Nice. Drive to Survive. Does your dad like Drive to Survive, Franco?
No, of course he loves it. He
Oh,
loves Drive to Survive.
I love the production design for this show. Ah, man, it's so well done, and it's one of the
The-
main reasons why I love having a really good sound system, because when the driving sequences come, sound goes up, house goes boom. I make sure Lucian is not in the house.
There was I'm really not interested in Squid Game.
Oh, I am.
At
I have to be honest. I am.
at me. I'm
I
really
am
not
so excited. Franco,
that
you
hair
did not get
Madonna.
caught by the hype. You did not get caught by the hype. But Franco, in 2021, in 1 week, this show had 1.65 billion viewing hours.
No, look,
Crazy.
for me, the merit of this show is that it introduced people
Exactly.
Korean movie
Exactly.
making
You
and
know how
whatnot.
good this was for Korean cinema and Korean series.
For sure.
So people became so much more open to watching Korean, Japanese shows
On
and movies.
I will give you that. I will grant you that. But and I will admit, because I'm used to seeing this kind of movies, especially from the Korean market. But for me, it was so it was so, how shall I say? It's basically Korean filmmaking 101. You know,
101.
if I would
Yes.
if I would give a lecture about Korean cinema, this would be like, okay, watch this and then go watch this and then
But
end.
extremely accessible for an audience. Extremely
Yes.
accessible for the American, for the Maltese audience. So accessible.
Yes,
And
yes,
it's a really good bridge, I think, so that then people can get into the very good Korean stuff, the Bong Joon-ho's and all that, right? Which is always a good thing. So I'm going to be honest. I got caught by the hype. I binged the whole thing in, like, I would say 2 days, 1 day, 2 days max. I enjoyed it. I'd be lying if I said I didn't enjoy it. I know it's not the popular thing to say among cinephiles. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it.
No. I'm actually the exception here, because other people liked Squid Game. Most of like cinephiles like Squid Game as well.
And I enjoyed the cinematography. The production design was, I think, really well done. And they
Yes,
did a great job with the soundtrack as well. The score was fantastic.
Yes.
I thought the
I
score
think,
was
but
really good, really solid score. Obviously, it has evolved from being just a series into all of our pop culture, basically. And I don't know if I'm looking forward to that element of Squid Game when it releases. But more people watching Korean stuff, the better.
That's
Let's just
yes.
leave it
That
there.
at least that's the silver lining.
So that's the, and obviously, I mean, we have to also say, Franco, a very, very good cast. Very, I would say, beautiful cast. Everyone's so good looking in that show, man. Okay. Everyone's a model in that show. Like literally, with looking at that show and thinking all Koreans look like that, you think, oh my God, Koreans are the most beautiful people in the world.
I have to say, having lived there 3 years, I would say yes.
So yeah,
So
so there's
yeah,
that to it. Right? But obviously this is the biggest like piece of news from this, right?
that
Squid Game
hair,
is
Madonna.
really releasing in 2024. No date so far. No date so far, but looks promising, right? Looks promising. The hair does not look promising though. Good God, that hair looks awful. All right, so that is our segment on Netflix Next 2024. Let us know in the comment section below, guys. What are your expectations for shows and movies which are coming out on Netflix this year? And with that, let's move on. We have just a tiny bit of news to talk about. Franco, I was thinking you'd be interested in this little argument made by a writer who I wish would get on to working and finishing his next book, because I love his books. George R. R. Martin says anti-fans have ruined the discussions around films, TV shows on social media. And here
Anti-fans.
are his comments. The Game of Thrones author recently opened up in a post on his blog about what a nightmare last year was for him, both professionally and personally. He also admitted that he feels so far 2024 looks to be even worse. While Martin said he tries to take solace where I can in chocolate thrones, if nowhere else, in books and films and television shows, he added that even toxicity is growing in those areas thanks to the era of social media. It used to be fun. This is open inverted commas. It used to be fun talking about our favorite books and films and having spirited debates with fans who saw things different. But somehow, in this age of social media, it is no longer enough to say, I did not like book X or film Y. And here's why. Closed inverted commas, he explained. Open inverted commas. Now, social media is ruled by anti fans who would rather talk about the stuff they hate than the stuff they love and delight on dancing on the graves of anyone whose film has flopped. What do you think, Franco, about those comments?
Um, Honestly, recently I noticed on Facebook when I watch on a reel that the most highlighted comment on a reel is the most negative comment, and
100%.
it would be someone petting a horse or feeding a horse. I mean, but I think it is actually a tactic used by social media where the most stupid stuff, and the more this stuff makes you angry, the more you get engaged the more you
Franco,
get engaged with it. Yes.
guess which is our most popular podcast in the last 2 months?
In
Which do you
Malta,
think is our podcast? Which is the most popular like YouTube release from the past 2 months, would you say?
I wouldn't know why.
Do you know which one? The worst. Worst movies of 2023. That is
Istra.
our most viewed podcast from the past 2 months. The worst
Ma,
movies of 2023. By far, there's a big jump.
hold on a second, but the thing is, we at least say it objectively, like,
Oh no,
okay,
100%.
like Rebel Moon. We're not. I mean, you
With a
cannot
bit
you
of
cannot
humor, we
defend.
joke about it, of course. We joke about Rebel Moon,
Yes.
but obviously, we never hate on Zack Snyder. I love Zack Snyder. I think he's a great guy.
I mean,
I love
again,
some of
like I
his
said,
work. I love 300. I love Batman versus Superman. I love
I'm
his
a man
work.
of I'm a man of
Man of Steel.
steel.
I really like Man of Steel as well. So no hate on Zack Snyder, but if we think a movie is bad, we're going to say it's bad.
No, it is.
Um,
There's no objectivity. I think what's R. R. Martin is saying. Like, listen. What else? This we had something with we had the same thing with Killers of the Flower Moon. Flower Moon. You know, I'm not a fan. You're obviously a fan, but it didn't like sour our relationship. And we still watch movies together. We still did this, but it's true. Social media. I think social media also somehow incentivizes the least.
Yes, the algorithm. The algorithm knows that people enjoy negativity, so it pushes negativity.
No, not only negativity. The least informed people are incentivized to say the utter shite, basically. You
And
know,
Franco, you know what this has led now? This has led to a number of YouTubers and influencers, like, and I'm going to name them here. And this is the first one I wanted to name, like the Critical Drinker, who I used to enjoy watching his videos years ago, but has just devolved into hate. Hate. So I did a quick search. I wrote down suck.
they hate men.
And these are all the videos he has released in the past few years involving suck. And now I'm going to put worst or bad. And so look at how many videos come up. This is 13 days ago. Why modern movies suck. The curse of multiverses. Why modern movies suck. Nobody can stay dead. Why modern movies suck. The myth of the modern audience. They're too expensive. They teach us awful lessons. The strong female character. Oh, it's
Hold
so
on.
bad that there are strong
Oh,
female
wait,
characters.
strong female character. Alleged Poor Things was a great strong female character. For fuck's sake.
But
Now.
but the problem with these is they focus on just the popular stuff. They hate their own fans. Come on. They're written by children. Listen, I know the new Star Trek aren't great.
Star Wars.
Come on.
The new Star Trek.
This is Star Trek. Apparently, it's not loved by a lot of fans.
No, listen, the new Star Trek. There was the only comment that I would say is it's true. There was so many lens flares, that I enjoyed them.
Star Wars is a dead franchise. The biggest flop in MCU history.
I mean, these are like I'm saying.
Look
This
at how much
is
negativity there is. What happened to our villains? The greatest lie ever told, Barbie. The Marvels trailer looks, yeah, obviously being sarcastic there. Snow White looks. Listen, it's not that I disagree with most of this stuff. I actually pretty much agree with, I would say, 50%, at least 50%, because I agree the Flash was a hot mess. I agree that Rebel Moon was a galactic disappointment. I agree that Snow White looks bad. I agree. No, this I don't agree because I love Barbie. But, oh yeah, Thor Love and Thunder. And I agree enough with the remakes. I agree with that. And I agree the final episode was awful. But there's a way and a way to go about it. And the way people like the Critical Drinker and people like Mauler on YouTube go about it is not to be objective, but it's to be clickbaity, and it's to be
cloud farming.
Modern movies suck. They all suck. They're all bad. Bad. Without
listen.
kind of fair criticism.
I'm anyway. I mean, he doesn't listen. He doesn't listen to this podcast. But I'm gonna go out and say it. Sometimes I'm very unhappy with my work because we deliver news in a way that it's supposed to create likes and clicks, not give you any deeper information about it. Easy. I mean, for example, the way the farmers' protest was done. Farmers' protest creates traffic. So fucking what creates traffic? They have every right to
the
protest.
Traffic is the issue, not the whole idea. Why
you see what I mean? So
place.
and it's not just where I work. It's Love in Malta, Malta Daily. So these are all places where I'm not going to work after I leave work for sure. Tipo, this is also to make another subtle plug to go watch basically Vitmita Costruzione, because at least when I was working on it, it's like I didn't know about this stuff. It's no longer about giving you information. It's basically rage baiting you. That's it.
That's it. Rage baiting you. That's it. Anyways,
I mean,
viewers and listeners. Yeah, go
he's
ahead,
right.
Franco. Conclude.
Sorry, so I was gonna say he's right. I mean, I haven't read his books. They're not of my interest. He seems like a lovely guy. I like, I like the Witcher guy. Apparently, the Witcher guy is such an
Ooh,
asshole.
such an asshole. Jesus. Ah, my friend. Even his biggest fans say he's an asshole. Like the fans who would kiss the ground behind him for his book still would call him an asshole. Well, everyone says he's an asshole, apparently. But moving on to the final piece of news piece before we get into our reviews. Today we're going to review Mr. and Mrs. Smith and The Promised Land, right? That's pretty much it. Because zone of interest, obviously, that was Joe. And unfortunately, for personal reasons, Joe couldn't join us today. Our love to Joe and his girlfriend, Talia. But final news piece of the day. I always love talking about Dune. And Denis Villeneuve just gave us some interesting news to talk about here. Of course, we are very much looking forward to Dune 2. And recently, Denis Villeneuve commented about the possibility of a Dune Messiah movie coming out as well. But he also knows his limits. The director will not go beyond 3 Dune films, he told Time this week, despite there being 6 books in Frank Herbert's famed sci-fi series. Dune Messiah should be the last Dune movie for me, said Villeneuve. The director, currently on the cusp of the release of Dune Part 2, said his adaptation of the Herbert novels are born out of a lifetime of fandom. I was trying to be, as a filmmaker, as invisible as possible, he said of the first Dune film, released 2021. I tried my best to keep the poetry of the book, the atmosphere, the colors, the smell, everything that I felt when I read the book, I tried. In the meantime, Villeneuve says he has worked on the script for Dune Messiah, which will adapt the second of Herbert's 6 Dune novels, but has not yet been officially greenlit. And Villeneuve told Empire magazine, if I succeed in making a trilogy, that would be the dream. Dune Messiah was written in reaction to the fact that people perceive Paul Atreides as a hero, which is not what, obviously, Frank Herbert wanted to do. My adaptation of Dune is closer to his idea that it's actually a warning. After that, he'd like to say goodbye to the franchise, a choice motivated by his avoidance of a Hollywood overly guided by money. Cinema, since its beginning, has had multiple crises, he told Time. There's always an adjustment, but the river still keeps flowing. The theatrical experience is here for good. It will prevail. It will transform. Franco, what do you think about Villeneuve saying, listen,
What a humble guy, Ostia. What a humble
3
guy.
movies, and that's it for me.
He's in it for the love of movies, man. It's just for me it contrasts a lot with what Nolan said. Like, he's not going back to making small movies. Like, why not? I mean, okay, it's his choice. So now that he's been, like, especially after Oppenheimer's success.
I understood his argument, though, Franco, because Nolan is probably the one director, I would say the only director right now, who all Hollywood studios would trust with a massive budget to do
make an
whatever
epic.
the fuck he wants. He's the only person right now, I would say.
I even Denis Villeneuve with what he did with. I mean, then again, Dune and Blade Runner were not crowd pullers.
But Dune had a decent viewership. Dune made, I think, over 400 million, which, considering it was released on streaming services on the same day, and COVID, I think, was very good.
No,
But
for
Villeneuve
COVID
is
times, yes.
But Villeneuve is given Dune, which is an adapted. Nolan takes something completely new, a book like with Oppenheimer, for example, and develops his own story. He does Dunkirk, he does Inception, he does, studios, I would imagine, trust someone like Nolan much more with a big budget than Villeneuve, even though I love Villeneuve. I think he's a fantastic visual director.
No, for sure.
So I would say, however, right now, even after the massive success of Oppenheimer, Nolan will be given a massive budget for his next movie.
No, he is a crowd puller. I mean, but sometimes again, despite me being not much of a fan of Killers of the Flower Moon, we need the Killers of the Flower Moon, especially with
100%, 100%.
you know what I mean. I mean, I'd love to see Nolan go back to something like Memento, and Denis Villeneuve, for example. Have you ever seen Enemy?
I have not. Neither
I mean,
Enemy
that
nor his other movie,
Prisoners.
Prisoners. I haven't watched those.
They were released on the same year, and I like them both. For example,
Wait,
Enemy
no,
was
Prisoners I watched. No, no,
no
no, no, no,
Prisoners
no.
you
Wait,
watched, ne?
Prisoners I watched. Prisoners I watched. I watched that in the cinema. I was on Erasmus when that came out.
Illahwa.
I remember watching it on Erasmus, 2013. Man, no, Prisoners I watched.
I mean, I'd like to see him go back. For example, Denis Villeneuve. I'd like to see him go back to something like Prisoners. You know, again, but I love Blade Runner. I love Dune. But even him, I think he knows. Like, okay, that's it. You know, especially he doesn't force it.
No, no, no. And you, like you said, he does it for the love of cinema because he loves cinema and he loves these fucking books, man. He anytime he talks about Dune, he just cannot stop talking about how much he loves the books. And I think the books, the Dune books, were a really strong influence on Villeneuve and his love for sci-fi, because clearly the man loves sci-fi. Like the man adores sci-fi. He's a sci-fi nerd.
Cause Arrival, yeah, Madonna.
He's such a sci-fi geek.
How could I forget Arrival?
Arrival, and obviously he did Blade Runner. So he's a massive sci-fi geek. This guy loves sci-fi. And you can tell, right? You can tell how much love and how much work went into Blade Runner, into Arrival, into Dune Part 1, and clearly Dune Part 2, because looking at just the trailers and hearing about, I was listening to a podcast, and they were lucky to see the first scene of Dune Part 2. Apparently it's the worm with Timothée Chalamet riding a worm, and apparently it is mind-blowing opening 10 minutes of the movie. I think it's going to be, which man, I can't wait to go watch it March 1st. Day one.
So the original books are 6, because I know
Six
there
in
were
total, because then his son
so many.
His son made some
Okay.
other books, and apparently even the big fans say they're not good. They're not good.
Give me a list, because I'd like to
We'll
read
do,
them as well.
we'll do. But that's it with regard to news, guys. So let us know in the comment section below your thoughts about obviously Denis Villeneuve's comments and how he's only going to be adapting 3 Dune movies. Would you like him to continue adapting the other movies, especially if you've read the other books? I've only reached basically midway through the first Dune book. I basically reached the moment when Paul meets the Fremen. I stopped there, so I watched the movie and finished the book off that in summer. So I'm so hyped, so hyped. And with that, Franco, shall we get into the reviews? Would you like to get The Promised Land over first, and then I get into Mr. and
And
Mrs.
then
Smith?
you go into Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and I leave you with our trusted viewers and listeners. Give us a like, guys. Subscribe. Also go on TikTok, because Andre has been getting his film talk on.
Yes.
That's but it's a good thing. I mean, I have to actually like the stuff so that it helps a bit the algorithm gods. Always praise the algorithm gods, guys.